Just walked in the door. If we're gonna talk, I get a can of listening juice. Hey.
Hi. Okay, so I was talking to the girls at work.
Oh, here we go.
What?
No good ever comes from that. It's never... You know, I was talking to the girls at work, and they told me that I'm not servicing you enough.
All right, here's the thing. A while ago, Jane and her husband decided that they would go find...
Hey, Jane, that one who looks like Pete Rose?
No, that's Bethany, and she does not look like Pete Rose.
Well, let's just crack open the old baseball encyclopedia here.
All right, maybe a little. Look, here's the thing. Jane and her husband went to couples therapy, and they found it really helpful. She loved the therapist they use, and I think it's something we should do.
Why? Our marriage practically runs itself, and plus you're not chunky like Jane, so why do we need a therapist?
Wow. Rough day for the work friends. I just think we're both so busy at work, we never have time to talk, and now we're going through all this fertility stuff.
You know how I feel about therapy. Why deal with stuff when you can just push it down inside and go on with your life?
Well, that's great, but as a backup plan, it might be nice to have an hour every week where we can connect and focus on our relationship. Here's the guy's card.
I don't know. Do we really need to pay a guy to tell you how lucky you are?
Well, no one's doing it for free.
Now, ladies, gentlemen, and races, species in between, this is your motherfucking boy. This is your motherfucking Spick. This is that dirty dick dude. SoulPapo again with another motherfucking weekly episode for your motherfucking ass. Now and forevermore, man, the hoes recognize, and man, the niggas do too, that Mr. Rogers' ass was the best thing that ever happened for your neighborhood. Reminding us to stay calm, to put our shoes on one at a time, to be good to our neighbors on some motherfucking Christ dish, Yeshua Jesus type ish, to where, you know, we held that in the highest, greatest commandment. You know, even karma wise, do unto others as they'd, you know, be done to you. I mean, there's no doubt that the whole message, the whole, even fucking messenger turned the hardest right and was as white and polished and whitewashed. I already said that part, but white as a motherfucking Snapchat filter. So go on, give us all the data, tell me everything that I need to sell you, to trick you, to screw you, and to, you know, tell me what you want, what you really want, so I can tell you how I give no fucks. And that's how Trump came off with. And I know I'm going to go right into it. Some motherfuckers that were angry from the very get-go. Get-goes, even before it could even start. And certainly more now as to seeing the moves that he's making and how seems like he's actually, you know what I'm saying, sticking to some guns, at least getting certain things going, at least creating conversations that are going to get people up in arms. And I'm pretty fucking sure this is just a sleight of hand trick, because it's going to be... it's helping in us ignore other things that are probably going on, and I really feel that's his main fucking source. If you ever saw the presidency as like a fucking puppetry of shit with, you know what I'm saying, some kind of Illuminati-esque figure up the ass of another character while, you know, pulling strings like fucking Geppetto, it's definitely in this presidency. And there's so much shit that I can't even begin to think what might be going on, because I'm so caught up in my own bullshit. Back to stating how difficult it is to be able to, you know what I'm saying, to pull together and come together, because sometimes with so much shit that's popping off, when you have moments to yourself, I know for sure I just want to spend it by myself. And as much, you know, as it should be, you know, having great family time and that sometimes you need to be able to reset batteries. So I mean, I can't blame anyone for, you know what I'm saying, for laziness, because Lord knows I'm a victim. But I mean, but 2017, that's not the word of choice. It's not being a victim, it's being a survivor. And that's, you know, that's definitely what we try to do in this masquerade of bullshit. But I started laughing because the whole border thing, it got so much attention, so much to the fact that, you know, here we are spitting bars, using our Twitter fingers, and ex-president Fox Amber saying some shit about, oh, I'm still not paying for the goddamn. Well, like, nigga, you ain't even president. Like, who the fuck included you? But I've always seen him, and I'm not, as much as I am a spick, I don't really keep it too much of the politic and knowing, you know, who does what. But I've seen him, though, when I've noticed little conferences and shit like that. He's always been in the background. So I don't know if it's because he did his time, still alive, didn't get killed by a fucking cartel, or whatever the fucking reason, he still has his foot in the door. So it's funny just to see that shit back and forth. But I mean, I just wonder how severe or how literal is this shit gonna actually be, especially with, I mean, the fucking ban on, so, or is it not the ban on Muslims, but just the ban on being able to accept, some of them coming in the door. And I mean, unless these motherfuckers are gonna go to Mexico and break in that way, which I have a whole conspiracy theory about fucking the whole Middle East, coalitioning with the Mexicans, and Mexicans ain't I have too much love for us, so I could just imagine them just cooperating and having some kind of business run. I mean, I can only imagine. We look like fucking cousins. That literally, we look like fucking distant cousins. You look at someone in Iraq, like who was from Iraq, Hussein, fucking look like an Uncle Chewy of some sort. You look at even Gaddafi. He just looked like it's like a troll OG. And these are guys who were trying to make moves and changing our world's currency, which of course is the U.S. We didn't want none of that shit. Because then we'd show how less we actually have. A lot of times, and I incorporate this with a lot of what I feel like social media kind of throws into the realm, to where, look how happy I am, look what I'm doing. I mean, sometimes I fucking wonder, and not to even talk shit, but sometimes even like my own sister, I'm like, damn, bitch, how are you able to afford being able to, go to the sushi and go to the movies and be able to go on these fucking trips? Like, bitch, I make more than you. But, it's all about what we make our priority and what we, choose to show to the world. I mean, I used to hide a lot behind memes, and little funny trivias and shit like that. But that would kind of take some time. And honestly, I would kind of invest more time than any sheer gratitude of a few likes was paying me. So I just quit completely, and as much as I want to go back, I know the backlash of what can happen and being lost in the trance, because some shit can be addicting, whether it's catching up with folks or being able to, catch so many likes, or I mean, really just kind of creating a persona, creating some kind of facade and shit that takes so much energy. And I'm not too sure if it's because, I've been playing stepdaddy, and, soon I'm going to, be an actual daddy, even though I feel like an actual daddy is a motherfucker that's going to be taking care of shit that, needs to get taken care of. So, I mean, whether or not you contributed sperm or not, that don't necessarily make you a daddy, but I digress. It takes just a whole lot to be able to keep shit functional, keep shit moving, that having to do all that shit, I see it as so much of a waste of time. I see it as so much of it wasting your soul. And unless you actually have a spare time and you really are trying to connect with friends or, family members that are distant, like, that's the one true thing I could see from it. But it's just way too easy. It's just way too tempting to be looking at other shit, or to get lost in just the shit that, technically, I mean, pretty much they're forcing upon you. Like, notice a lot of times you'll see something that says sponsored by, or this is an ad, or some bullshit like that. A lot of times you won't know because they cover it up perfectly so that it mixes with the shit that you're normally regularly looking at, and it allows it to be more easier to reblog, repost, retweet, whatever the fuck you want to do, to where you're sharing it. So that's how it gets in. It's like just how, evil. All it needs is a crack. Like you imagine someone chasing you and they get their hand in the door, and, it's kind of up to you to, chop off that hand or whatever the hell, or they might just slip on in because they got their hand. Let's say, be motherfucker, you got your foot in the door somewhere. All it takes is a little bit of chance to slip in more and get all the way in. That's why, they call it slipping into the DMs, because if you can be, I don't know, charming enough, you can really charm pants off. You can, do whatever the case is, whatever it is that it takes to lure into you, whether it be your mind, your heart, or your soul. I mean, that shit is what consumes and, really goes through your blood veins. And it's funny that what we do and what we put on there is going to be there forever, whether it's bullshit or not. And I think that's kind of something that Trump really took to consideration, or is really laying down the foundation to. And this is what I meant to say earlier, because I reconnected with my dude, Root Boy, and I haven't talked to him in a minute. And I really didn't talk to him because via text, and I should have texted more, but I was just like, he dropped one last little bomb, and it kind of stuck with me. With Trump and what he's doing, he is really creating history. And I say that because we look at, the geographics, or not hieroglyphics, or whatever the fuck you call it with the Egyptians. They have the tombs and other. I know I'm missing the word. It's somewhere there in between. But they're creating a story. They're creating, what's going to live on, no matter what destroys around them. When the ruin is done, when the dust is settled, and when people go excavating for shit, what they're going to find. And no matter, if this shit living in the cloud is merely just a server base somewhere, I mean, regardless, wherever the hell we're storing this information at, if it's going to continue, if it's going to live on, it's going to be what they're inputting. And one of the scariest things that really made me come to the realization that no matter how shitty it's going to look, or how shitty it is, it's going to look so much prettier in the future or from a distance for example, and it was pretty embarrassing about the inauguration of Trump and supporters that, the crowd that they drew in, it was nowhere close to the Women's March, but definitely it was nothing in comparison to when Obama was inaugurated, and that was more of a grand feat. I mean, you're talking about, and we can't say he's totally black because the nigga ain't Nigerian. That's straight up nigga. But and that ain't a bad thing. But I'm saying, as far as that was such more of an accomplishment to be able to see, because we wouldn't have thought it with all this, with all this racism and all this bullshit. We wouldn't have imagined, whatever. And I'm not trying to take us 8 years back, but he's trying to. I remember the copy and paste that they did so that it can look like, hey, this was a grand day. This nigga was straight up, and I'm talking about Trump right now. He was straight up lie to the public in his tweet saying, I was so proud and so honored or whatever the fuck about the, big old turnout that they had. But it's really like, no, that's bullshit. We've seen comparisons, and who knows what time of the day supposedly that it leaked from the photographer of the park itself, because I guess they have that shit under surveillance like crazy. You'd imagine it being in DC. So it was leaked and they got in trouble for doing so. So I'm imagining that it was a realistic picture, because like I said, we can't tell what time, and who knows, from one point to one point. I mean, there had to be a fucking timestamp on the bitch to truly know the comparison. But the fact is, and that's another scary thing. It could be fake news. Who the fuck knows? And because of that fake news bullshit, like, who's to say what is real? I mean, of course, you have to have your facts, but who's going to go digging enough? Who's going to put their neck on the line to be like, no, I know this because I work here? No one's going to want to fucking do this. Nobody wants to get their own shit fucked up. And that's what's messed up, really, because we're kind of driven by our own selfish pursuits. As much as we should be selfless, we take way too much pride in ourselves and become selfish. And you know that from experience, but I just know that because that's just kind of like they say that's just, not biology, but they're saying that's just how the mind is. And that's why, a kid or a baby, they're going to be totally selfish because they think that the world revolves around them. Just how when you're young, you're kind of... in any adolescence or ignorance, whatever you want to call it, it's going to take us back to the dark ages where we thought the fucking world was flat. Who the fuck knew that it would have been around? Unless you're taught this, unless you see this, you're not going to know it. So sure as shit for someone who's, so young. But I digress. It's in human nature to do so. And whether that be seed that the devil planted, that we just said, fuck it, let's go with that. Because you see some people who are selfless, some people who really do give 100% of themselves. But, not to say that everyone can't be fucking God. But it's just, unfortunately, God bless it that we were to have more of that, but it's just that ain't really reality. And unfortunately, we live in reality as much as we try to escape into other escapisms, whether that be your social medias, your like feeds, your posting of shit, your the compliments you get throughout the day, the side motherfucker that you're seeing that just tells you how pretty you are, like all these things. It's good because we need to be able to build our own self-confidence. There has to be ways for us to build ourselves up, but when it's so easy to be knocked down by that particular thing, you're giving that particular thing way too much fucking power. And I think that's kind of where the social media, or just really any cross-media shits that they have upon us. And when we're getting the bar set by a fucking Kardashian or by whoever the fuck is famous at the time, like it all, and I said this again, but it all is just a facade, and it's bullshit, and it's tiring, and god damn does it make a lot of money, and I want me some of that money, and I don't know what else to say about it. So on that note, let's get to some news. Now, if it seems hypocritical that I'm bringing this shit up, it quite is, and I say that as a wannabe Christian, even though I want to be real Christ-like. Sometimes, just you can't help but just get together and just talk a little bit of shit. And one of those things is, and I couldn't fucking escape it, even though I tried to stay away from fucking social media, is the one thing that I'm prone to is shit that's on YouTube, unfortunately. And I kept on hearing about the bullshit between Soulja Boy and Chris Brown, and I forgot what bitch they were going after. It couldn't have been Kalani. It had to have been some other bitch that apparently no one was getting at. But this is another thing too, like how a bitch can be famous all because she shows her ass on Instagram. Like, I mean, please believe my Instagram is full of suicide girls, which is why I don't get on it. Like, as much as I want to, I'm just like, I don't know where to start. Not just to stare at the fucking pale white bitches, but more or less just to be able to, I'm saying, try to be funny. Like, I'm fucking cooped up in my little cave, and you wonder why I can't work on myself. But one of the things that just cracked me up with these motherfuckers is just how hardcore it got it. It's just all, Twitter fingers, and it's all just fucking, online posing. But then apparently there was going to be a fight that was going on. So then that's when the shit got interesting. That's when I was like, well, that could be, entertaining. And was it, I think, Game, who is managed by Whack 100, which I think is a fucking ridiculous fucking name, because Whack responds to the word as you being shitty. But anyways, he also manages Soulja Boy. So, of course, he's been trying to get his fighter promotership on with this one faggot motherfucker. What's his name? He's from Florida. Stitches. And so they've been trying to kind of get this fighting thing going on, and Floyd Mayweather, he's been kind of getting the bullshit with something McCracken, some white dude from the UFC, some Irish cat, I think he was. Anyways, so I know they've been kind of going off about being able to fight and and the money not being right and yada yada yada. Well, so now there's this fight that's supposedly from and I'm doing air quotes, you can't fucking see me, the digital straits, and they're gonna, lay down. So then apparently, who is it? So Mayweather was training Soulja Boy, and I forgot who was training Chris Brown. And, no, it might have been Mike Tyson. And then apparently, I don't know, just to add to ether the fire. But then Soulja Boy dropped Mayweather in regards to getting Evander Holyfield, which cracks me the fuck up because one of the earliest memories that I have, and it shows my age, but I remember that being an infamous fight. It might have been back in '97 when fucking Mike Tyson bit the fucking ear off of Evander Holyfield, which I thought was just so fucking crazy and just showed his animal instincts and yada yada yada, and kind of typecast the motherfucker to be the crazy kooky motherfucker that he is today. But and all the attention that this shit gets, I'm just thinking like, who the fuck's dropping the album? Ain't none of them dropping any music. So what is this for? It's a fucking distraction. I'm pretty fucking sure, along with Kanye and the Steve Harveys and the Chrisette Michelles, fucking Trump got these little nigglets in on it so they can to create this fucking diversion. I don't understand it. I don't know what it's really about, because it just seems too stupid of a thing. I mean, mind you, I will kill for my woman. You know what I'm saying? I smacked the fuck out of one. You know what I'm saying? And had to deal with him. It lost me my job and my little spare change. But oh fucking well, you do what you got to do when you're fucking pressed against you. But this is some online hoisms. Like, how are you going to be intrigued or perplexed or torn and twisted over some online hoisms? Like, they don't make any fucking sense. And you dumb. You niggas, you all really dumb. So in the other motherfucking news, I really felt bad. Even though people who are online, people who are on TV, or on these reality shows, they choose to put themselves there. So you really can't help but get the attention that you so desperately put out there. The wanting of that is Nanage and all that shit. And it's sad that when fucked up shit does happen and how it kind of comes to light. And we do live in the generation of, it's not centricity, but just of it all being fucking out there, just in the cloud, or for us to be able to enjoy or take a part and dispose of. But T.I., who was getting divorced from Tiny, who I don't know if she was a fucking stripper or a hooker or a prostitute or some bullshit, which you can really tell the difference in those things and a reality TV star. But she filed for divorce. And one of the fucked up things about it, I guess the part that irks me so much, because man, I would be fucking heartbroken or fucking furious, and is that she was seen canoodling with this motherfucking, I don't want to say it's his arch nemesis, but definitely something that we've seen bullshit of before with fucking Mr. Money making Mayweather. And it started from fucking taking pics to where she was at a party at Mariah's, I think. And supposedly this bitch didn't want to be rude to Mariah, so she, posted more pictures and was seen dancing again. But this is someone that you obviously know has a beef with your husband. Someone who could probably knock your fucking husband out, which is unfortunate. I mean, his hands technically are like registered as weapons. So, I mean, you can't really help it. And T.I., who's been in trouble for having registered weapons, I mean, it's just bad news all the way around. And just not only, from respect for his ass, but then, and who knows what other deeper issues there is. And, and who knows, and I mean, and I hate that. I mean, this is the point. I guess this is the show where I can just talk my shit and say all these things. But I would imagine, this bitch who was a stripper or something like that, or, for the hoe of shit. I mean, when you sell your life, so to speak, so it can be publicized, I'm pretty fucking sure if there's a motherfucker who has millions, flashing at your pussy is not, you probably wouldn't think twice. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shit, if I was in a position, you know what I'm saying? Surely I would give insert actress, for some dick. And it just, it's just one of those things. Obviously not because I love my baby mama, that's my mama, but it's just, in that realm of celebrity, that's just the line that they would go. So I'm imagining in the shoes of, so in that very case, it's just, oh my God, it's just so fucking disheartening and so embarrassing just to see all that shit. And it's not the thing you can live down. And I'd imagine, not to say that they fucking probably Google themselves every day, but people that hang around, they know the business. People you doing business with knows your business. So it's just, there ain't really no escaping that shit. Kind of like to fucking Jane Aiku. I didn't realize the bitch was as old as she was, having a kid as old as it is, I think 5 or 6 or some shit. And she was married. I wouldn't have thought that, seeing the music that she made or seeing the artists that, she was seen, fooling around with. Shouts out to Big Sean, little nigga doing big things. And it's just one of those things to where, to get to the point of it, her ex is now trying to get alimony. And that's one of the terms that just scares you the most. Now, I don't make much. I wish I could make more. I hope to pray to God that something blows up and I become a celebrity when money comes hella easily just for bullshitting. But until that day, I had to work for my shit. So just to think to have to pay for someone else to live, it's just one of the biggest fucking busted balls. And you see it a lot. We see it a lot with women, asking for their, from their husband for alimony. Now, I can see that if a woman, decided to become a stay-at-home mom, putting her career down, like, that's understandable. Now, this motherfucker, I don't know at what point she was the breadwinner, and I'm not too sure if he was a producer or a manager or something of that nature, but you figure he's making his own money. So I laugh that when a man tries to do it, people kind of shun it off. But yet, if a woman was totally dependent on her man, we would have given. It's just one of those fucking, what's it called? Not double. It's not. It's just one of those double standards. When we see that. So it's fun. Just like when we see a man in a domestic violence, shelter, like that is some bitch shit. I understand your bitch going all up on you, but really, motherfucker, you have to escape. Like I'm sure that ain't the fucking case. You probably had the most bruises because you was smart. You pushed the bitch in her armpit because you can't see those bruises. But I mean, other than that, like it just shows. I mean, people just playing the system. So when I see that shit, I was like, damn, bitch, I'm so sorry. But I mean, that's just what happens when you get motherfuckers playing the system. So unless you in that system and you gonna fight, for what is right, then you're gonna allow for bullshit to happen and for shit like this to get and slide through. So best of luck to that motherfucker and to T.I. So for my last little piece of news, one of the things that really tripped me the fuck out, and I didn't really understand this, so who knows if it's an actual true thing or not, because we could just judge off of pictures and career paths, but Lindsay Lohan, this bitch has become a Muslim. And it was funny because not too long ago, in the past few episodes, I had mentioned about her opening up some fucking Russian nightclub, or maybe just being one of the promoters of it, which just kind of seems like a holy fuck, that's a far reach kind of thing for her to be publicizing, or for for her to be marketing, to where even she had like donned her own little language where she sounded like British, South African, and Russian, which was weird. But one of the biggest things too is just how strong, and I'm not trying to throw fucking ISIS in the mix or fucking say that she's become a radical or something like that, but they have influence out there so much to where when fucking the Syrians were running around trying to escape, find some kind of refuge, that was one of the big spots. So it's just kind of funny, and I always see this when I see like white women from like South Dakota or Ohio that run off with some fucking Muslim and, become like these radicalized, people who, mind you, are not following true traditional doctrine of Islamic beliefs, but more so just like this radical, crazy, fuck everyone else because I'm disenfranchised or just, left out for whatever fucking issue, which, mind you, I can't front, and there's place for those folks because, whenever you feel disconnected, whatever helps you feel whole again, that's what you're gonna gravitate it and, jump onto. Just how, really the biggest, most sultriest dick there is fucking Jesus dick, because as soon as you get yourself a taste of Jesus, a lot of times if it's true and you stick with it and, you truly, rebuke all the wickedness and try to tarnish away and fight off all the wicked, all the evil that kind of still lingers in, and you truly become sanctified and you do what Peter did and you're reborn every day and all this good stuff, you feel the Holy Spirit, you're gonna stick with that. And that's why, and it saddens me how just and I don't like the word religion, but the power of spirituality has become befuddled or muffled up from all the shit that we kind of lose ourselves and give ourselves into. So much so, like, I swear to God, I was at we were at the parking lot of the church and I made an excuse to like not be in there. That just shows you how strong influence can be, and what lies in our heart truly exfoliates itself in the rest of shit. But I digress. I'm trying to talk about Miss Lindsay Lohan's ass and how she just seen with I'm sure if it's a durka or a dashiki or whatever that's just called that they fucking wear over their heads, which I think is very beautiful, and I feel like a woman should be covered up, but only expose herself to her man, even personality wise. Like, bitch, don't even look at this motherfucker, don't appease him, don't even humor him. Do whatever the fuck you gotta do and be gone. And that's probably where a lot of holisms get surprised, because anytime you suppress something, aka motherfuckers, priests in the Catholic Church, when you do finally let something off, it's gonna probably be something wicked because you've had too much built up. That's just what happens. I know when I was like at my strongest in Christ, I was on top of the world. I was healthy, I was making decent money, I was living all right. And my one little, little bit of sin, was of the flesh. Now, even though New Testament talks so much about not giving into it, like, I couldn't help it. I was fucking obese, overweight beforehand. I was just feeling good about myself. Pussy was thrown on my lap. Sometimes it'd be delivered. Sometimes I could order, and it can be thrown. They leave on their own. It was a beautiful time to live, and I think that's kind of one of the things, one of my original habitats, to where it's kind of hard to not be within that, because that's what motivated and did a lot to, for me to properly function, which I know can sound wrong and it sounds like the total excuse for hoisms, but it is what it is. And some would say that, and the same thing with Lindsay. So her kind of going through these roller coaster of shits, it's funny that she would, it's not funny, I'm glad that she found some sort of spirituality, but it's funny that it would go in this regard. And if she has any sort of influence on young hoes today, because now these young hoes who were under her spell of sorts, or who were under her influence, or who were very much, who adored her, or you could say the generation from being as young as, if you remember the Parent Trap remake, to fucking Mean Girls, which is a fucking classic staple in chick flick movies, and I can't front about it. That's up there with me, along with Easy A and Clueless. Like, it's one of those dope chick flick movies that it's I can't say any other fucking word for it. Give me a thesaurus. Anyway, so I'm wondering if that would kind of, if it was strategized, and whoever the fuck did her manipulating, whoever kind of lured her in, if it was to kind of to get that demographic and that audience. Just how, we look at Ariana Grande, and she's a beautiful little baby bitch, and it's just hilarious how she has literally been a baby prostitute for as long as you can remember. And when they market her now, and I forget the name of the album, Behind the Woman or Behind the Mask or some shit, this bitch is straight up wearing some kind of BBD, whatever the fuck, that body bondage fucking leather S&M shit. And these little girls are, and it's the music that goes to little girls, and whatever fucking old bitch that doesn't want to let go and listen to some grown people music, like it's directed towards that. And I started laughing, and this isn't really much in the gossip news because I'm done talking about Lindsay. but she was picked up as a character in a Final Fantasy mobile game. And I gotta give shouts out to that because Final Fantasy, which is a Square Enix title, it's been around since fucking back in the NES days. I don't know if it was before any of that, but it's been continuing to literally we're at the point where now in the PS4, Xbox One era video game systems, there's a game called Final Fantasy 15. So it's just it's literally the same shit. Never really got into it, but it's whatever. I'm not so much about the game, but now obviously the biggest market being the mobile market, because just how TV was something new to radio, and then radio then became a dying form. Now internet is like the new generation, or phone is like the new generation of TV, because now they're not only in their houses, but now each person has one. So now the dying factor of, what was TV is now the radio, and so on and so forth. So it makes sense from a global market that you put your gaming on the mobile system, right, on everybody's fucking phone, something that most fucking smartphones can handle, and then you're taking this property that again has a nostalgia factor that can get the fucking geek, not unlike me, because I'm not a fan of that shit, but someone who knows of it, or someone that sees cute little characters and they put her in the game. So her character in the game is wearing that little bunny outfit that she fucking wears on her album, which I think is perfect, because not only are you gonna get the creeps and the perverts who want to see this bitch, but also the fans who listen to this bitch, and then also the geeks who play the game. So it's just a fucking perfect melting pot of what is, I'm sure, is gonna microtransaction the fuck out of your wallet. So kudos to fucking Square Enix or Squaresoft or whatever they're called to be able to make that kind of game and to make that kind of move. I haven't looked at the number figures, but I imagine that it's making quite a bit. And I'm pretty sure to see that little tiny bitch in some skimpy outfits, the pedals are loving it. Now that I got you stimulated and titillated and excrementulated and some of the shit that sounded so illated, it's time for some what the fuck? That's fucked up, ain't it though? Noticias. Now listen, not just because I could be misogynistic at times, and just because I might feel like by slapping a bitch in the ass, it's a good way to tell that you did a good job and that I appreciate you. Now that doesn't mean that I necessarily want them hurt, or I want them earning less, or that I don't respect them. So take that into consideration when I say this. But there's this feminist lady who created pussy hats for the Women's March. Now I didn't watch it. The only thing I heard about it or looked up about it was when I saw that they had more of a turnout in DC than the fucking presidential inauguration did. But I guess the woman who created this thing was thinking that they see the word pussy as being derogatory, which I know it doesn't sound very cute. Pussy doesn't sound, I mean, it could sound sexy, but who's to say what sounds sexy when a bitch is moaning something like "fuck my pussy"? Like I guess it does kind of sound kind of gross. It makes you look at fucking porn a whole different way. At least it just seems ridiculous. Now, but then again, you can't really say vagina. Do you want to enter my vagina? Like it just still doesn't sound right. So it just sounds like fine china. When I think of that shit, think about the fucking plates and shit that my grandma kept behind the fucking glass that we never ate off of. I mean, never. Special occasions, we still had fucking paper plates because it meant less fucking dishes to wash. Anyway, so this lady creates what are just pink kitty hats, little kitty cat hats. And of course, using the play on words pussy and pussy cat. So pussy cat, pussy hat. I was very misled, and I was really hoping for like these disgusting pictures, with little, with pubes around the fucking center, kind of almost doubling as a fur coat, because I know it's cold out there, and it's hard to reach, on the naughty areas and tidbits, but nothing like that. It was a fucking pink hat, and in a way, I kind of appreciate them trying to take the word pussy back, kind of how I'm saying niggas are trying to take the word nigger back, but really, I mean, you can't erase what's been thrown out there. Other than, try to make it your own. So go on, girl. Make sure you don't get too cold wearing your pussy hat out there. Letting everybody pet it. Because that is, in fact, some hoisms. What the fuck? That's fucked up, ain't it though? Noticias. So one of the most fucked up things that I remember seeing on YouTube, and apparently it's been a craze, so other people are fucking trying to do them too. Oh, and you've seen them all around. You might even see them on Instagram and Snapchat. It's fucking makeup tutorials. Like, bitch, I need to see how the fuck you kick the fuck up and become another one of these alternative facts, because that's just false advertising and it's bullshit, and I can't stand that shit. Anyways, they have fucking domestic abuse tutorials. Meaning, I mean, how to hide domestic abuse makeup tutorials, which, I mean, I guess in a way, like, it's a good thing. And it started, I guess, like in the Middle Eastern countries, because obviously you have to be presentable. But even then, so what? It doesn't even make any sense. If you're fucking hiding behind that fucking sheet cloth, like, why the fuck does it matter? People can see your fucking bruises. I guess just so you don't see it yourself. You're not reminded of it unless you touch it and you press on it. But I just thought that was so ridiculous in the fact that we have these tutorials, which, mind you, can be helpful. But it's just kind of like, it's almost like as if it's condoning the abuse. And I feel like any time a bitch does that, I mean, it just kind of, it's that you're hiding the problem. You're sweeping under a rug. You're layering it on with fucking primer and fucking base paint and all the other shits that I don't fucking know, that I can't recognize. I just know is mad expensive and fuck you Ultra, fuck you Mac. But I just, it's almost like if ever some feministic shit or some shit to be a feminist over, it'd be that kind of thing. Like, cause it's almost as if it's condoning it. But then again, I mean, who's to fucking get mad at the fact that someone has a video on how to tie ties? And even though I don't ever have to tie ties, but when it's a special occasion, I might click on that video to be able to show me one more again how it is that I can fix myself up. So in a way, I say it's helpful, but another way, I just feel like it's dragging women down in the essence, because again, it's just something that we can easily cover on. And you know what? And the only way I would respect you as a feminist, if you're the type that fucking doesn't wear makeup, which all those bitches were caked up, at least ready for picture time. You ain't ever gonna see a bitch look her truest and realest, because thank God for, you know, filters. But all that shit, alternative facts. All that shit is fake. All that shit is some cover up that really, I mean, can you be mad when it becomes a norm and becomes a thing? Just how, you know, like I feel like, and thank God I don't have a little girl, but if I were to, that bitch is gonna be wearing pants all the time. I don't ever want her being comfortable wearing fucking chonies or some little skirt, or, you know what I'm saying, half of her ass be hanging out. Mind you, I do enjoy looking at such things, but that doesn't mean that I can, or I really can't, because I'll get smacked the fuck out in public, shanked. But it's just, don't do it to yourself. At least, I really don't support such things. I mean, if you really care and you really wanted to make some kind of impact, you wanted to show other women that they don't have to continue with this thing that's become commercialized and that they want to shove down our throats, like commercial holidays, aka Valentine's Day. That's one of the most expensive, I think, underneath. Actually, no, I think more so. It's up to a fucking Christmas. Again, it became a commercialized thing because they want to sell you shit. And they want the person that's selling you shit to feel jealous that other people are, in fact, jealous of other people getting other shit, and just creates a fucking commotion. And if you ever thought you were saving money and you're not going to use that fucking credit card, you good fucking luck to you, because you got to make weight. What the fuck? That's fucked up, ain't it though? Noticias. Yo, one of the most fucked up things that you could ever go through is something that you have no control over. So it's especially for a woman who, let's say, has to work in endangered environments or just has to deal with hostile people, like all the more risk and definitely all the more fear, just because you know how aggressive someone can be. And especially when they're in no good circumstances, it's just so like fucked up and no limit to someone's fucking vengeance. And they say that hell hath no fear like a woman scorned. So there was a situation where supposedly a next girlfriend of someone who had just gotten married had plotted to have the new wife raped. And what she had supposedly did was that she had put an ad on Craigslist and pretty much said that she had like a rape fantasy. And that's kind of like a high button to hit. And for anyone to have for you to tell some creep that's fucking searching online for fucking anonymous sex to supply or to reply or to assist with this rape fantasy, I'm pretty sure you're gonna get a shitload of fucking takers. And that's what this bitch pretty much prevailed on, knowing that there was going to be mad motherfuckers waiting in line to rape a bitch. Consensual, of course, which, you know, would just allow you to be able to live out that fantasy. Because that's the one thing that we need, right? Without it being actual rape, is consensuality, or however that shit goes. So anyways, so that's just fucked up in itself. And they had gotten the bitch arrested. You know, they showed the emails and, you know, how she had plotted. Well, turns out that whole situation was a hoax. and that the new wife of the gentleman was for some reason pinning it on the ex, and apparently she might have been pinning on the ex because right now the ex and the husband are currently going through a dispute over owning some kind of condo here in Phoenix, and I guess they live in California, so she had to escape back here, then had to be exonerated and all this bullshit, but. Long story short, it was the fucking wife who actually set up these rape fantasy shits. So it takes a real twisted fucking turn because not only is it fucked up just in case they actually get away with it. I mean, the fact that you were big enough of a freak to put that on the table, because what if they would have succeeded? Supposedly the police got there in time to see her ripped clothes and a redneck. They didn't mention whether they got to penetrate or not, but either fucking which way, how close and dangerous is that shit for that to pop off? And it would have almost seemed, I mean, and it's fucked up to think that a bitch would plot against another bitch to have this done too, but it would almost make sense, like I said, because of the case proceedings and, you know, that ongoing fight and just, I'm pretty sure, animosity that, you know, if not soon after, then right after, you know, breaking up, you know, your dude gets married and you're probably still stalking him on Facebook and, you know, all that bullshit, which is just one of the reasons especially why I can't stand social media, just because it leaves too easy of an access for people to fucking see your past. And not only that, but fucking interact with it. And not only that, but to make that a part of their own fucking lives, and it shouldn't be that way. Because if you're starting a relationship, not only should shit just be forgiven, or I mean, at least not forgetting it, if not at least forgotten, that at least just brought out the fucking way. Because why consume yourself with all that anger and all that sadness that came from before, whether or not that had anything to do with you? You know, just the fact that you guys shared something prior before. But regardless, I'm still tripping out that it was the fucking wife that did this shit. And apparently this bitch had also faked being pregnant because she had faked the pregnancy and then made supposed threats from the ex saying that she was going to kill her and her unborn child, where, again, this bitch was just either trying to pull it all, keep a nigga baby trick, or at the very least, you know, just make it all the more known how much and prone she is to becoming a victim. In this case, she's a survivor. But, I mean, the fact that she fucking did that shit just boils up so much fucking trust issues in me that I wouldn't know how to fucking proceed. I mean, this bitch that you married, not only try to get your ex on the bus, and it's not even about having love for the ex, it's just more about having respect for the person that want to drag him on the bus. Now, I can understand the bitch owed you a few dollars. I mean, you know, I might do some shifty for a little piece of change, but just the fact that, I don't know, if that's just not involved, if, you know, parties in separate ways, you know, and if you're in a legal dispute with, you know, owning a fucking house, I mean, that's just the contract you signed. I mean, the fact that you weren't even married with a bitch, I mean, you should have really known the risk factors in that part. But I mean, for the wife to do that and to put herself in her own type of danger, I mean, that would almost let me know that she might have wouldn't mind a random dick or 2 or 5, and then, you know, of course, filing a police report and trying to blame it on another bitch. Like, it just, the shit that's a part of the plot is just too ridiculous to ignore and really to have any fucking hope for. So, I mean, I really hope that this cat, you know, that they get through it. The husband's name was Ian Diaz, and then the wife, Michelle Diaz, and then the actual victim, who was the bitch, who was the ex, who all the shit got blamed on, her name is Michelle Susan Hadley. And she's a beautiful little Juanita, and it broke my heart that she had to be thrown in this shit. But, I mean, it's funny that the fucking wife was still holding feelings. Like, bitch, what the fuck? That's fucked up, ain't it though? Alright, so then another little series of unfortunate shitty events. During an undercover marijuana sting at a South Florida school, a teenage boy who had began to fall in love with someone who he had thought was just another teenage bitch turned out to be an undercover police officer, who then later arrested him for selling her marijuana that she asked him to obtain for her. And it is a featured story on something called The American Life back in February 10th. And it pretty much went around this 18-year-old boy, Justin LaBoy, L-A-B-O-Y, an honor roll student who went to Park Vista Community High School in Palm Beach, Florida, had got caught up and mixed up with this 25-year-old woman who was posing as a fucking high school senior, which kind of almost reminds me of Never Been Kissed. But this bitch tried to find, you know, a deeper, you know, sexual something harassment story. I forget what the fuck it was. I just remember Drew Barrymore and her fucking falling in love and then trying to get them together at the fucking very end of it. But this bitch was, you know, on a mission. But I feel like fucked up because I'm wondering what if he was just, you know what I'm saying, thought he was gonna get some pussy and, you know what I'm saying, went through the trenches, fucking went to the I don't know, what are the cool kids hang out, the fucking, not the patio, but the bleachers, you know what I'm saying, getting high and him having to fucking deal with all that fucking mess. Well, it turns out the teen is not the first that, you know, that to be caught in undercover sting, nor was the case the first to raise questions about the tactics used by that undercover police officer. Now, in Brooklyn, New York, a 19-year-old student was charged with receiving stolen property after buying an iPhone from an undercover police officer in December. Now, the New York Police Department set up the operation to target people buying and selling stolen electronics. Now, it's fucked up if you're getting in trouble for buying the fucking shit because you're using your actual fucking cash. But I mean, I guess they got to be able to tie the loop somewhere. Anyways, they tricked the motherfucker into purchasing the phone after the undercover police officer told him that he needed money to, you know, feed his daughter for Christmas. So it just, I don't know, tactics like that. Like, I feel like even though they're working, they're targeting the bad folks, or actually they're not getting the bad folks. They're getting the motherfucking possibly innocent bystanders that are just, you know, trying to do what they can. And I don't know, whether you're dealing with stolen shit, I mean, obviously, the motherfucker that's stealing this shit should get caught up. And if he, you know, comes down saying, well, I got it from so-and-so, then I can understand that. But don't try to bring innocent motherfuckers and drag them along because they were dumb enough to listen to your fucking ass. All right, so that's going to fucking conclude today's
What the fuck?
Who there? That's fucked up.
Ain't it though?
Noticias. All right, so if you don't already feel old when you either see your kid know more about how to handle the TV or some little toothpick bitch in the bathroom taking pictures with 20 of her friends but really only focused on her, then you definitely finna feel old when I hear some of these songs that just turned 20. And it was definitely fucking bruised the ego because I had to have been, and forgive me for aging myself, but about, you know, 7, 8, 9. And I remember like hearing these joints like on the school bus, back when the school bus used to play the fucking public radio, or there was like one, you know, top Billboard 100 radio station, and they played everything. That'd be your only chance to ever hear some hip hop. I was kind of in a ghetto rural area at the same time when it was transitioning around this era. So I got to experience fucking sets of both. But one of the songs, and y'all please get your Googles ready, The Verve, Verve, they had a song called Bittersweet Symphony. And I remember it, and I remember looking at the video, just, you know, the slow motion of this one little emo dude just fucking pushing like damn 30,000 people while he's fucking walking through New York or whatever, you know, city shit that they were in. You fucking still remember the song in movies, and I can't think of shit now, but they've reused it, and the fact that it's been sold and has so many things, I'm pretty sure it's made its money back in royalties, because I don't remember hearing shit from them. Matter of fact, when I hear the name, nothing fucking correlates. But you Google the bitch, it pops right the fuck up. Another song that turns 20 is Biggie's Mo Money, Mo Problems. This is back when he went by the Notorious B.I.G. And you remember the fucking shiny suits and Puff Daddy being all up in the videos, all up in the whatchamacallits. Another song that just turned 20, and y'all have to remember this shit. Hanson. They only had one fucking song before they all went fucking solo and Christian, and you definitely never heard him after that. The fucking song, Bop, nah. And I'm not gonna fucking play it because of copyright infringements, although I wish I could, especially for this next song that just turned 20. And I can't even say the name of the band, but Chumbawamba, Chumbawamba, and the song was called Tub Thumpin'. And if you ever remember, man, I wish I could fucking play it. I get knocked down, but I get up again. But motherfuckers ain't gonna let me down, or some shit like that. I know you had to fucking remember that song. If you don't, how dare you? And who raised you? Another song that fucking turned 20 that definitely was like a big deal, at least to punk people maybe, definitely to me, was the Foo Fighters, Everlong. And I'm not too sure if this was like right after the death when Kurt Cobain had died, but him, and I'm forgetting his fucking name, the lead singer of Foo Fighters, I just remember Dave Knowles. I think it's Dave Knowles, something Knowles, because I remember seeing him hook up again when with Tenacious D, and it's kind of who got Jack Black into shit, because I don't know if they were homies and just put him in the videos, but this is when when Dave, you know, took on his own thing, and it still kind of sounds like Nirvana, but pop enough to, you know what I'm saying, to be able to, you know, to become a hit. And they had a lot of shit since then. And I remember, I can't even remember what the last album I bought from them, but definitely dope, definitely up there with Chili Peppers, you know, definitely on that, you know, exterior things. Another song by a band called Blur. The song was Song 2. And this is the thing I was mentioning earlier when you hear that. Actually, no. This song goes, and you've seen this shit in movies, or you heard this shit in movies where it goes, woohoo, doom, 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 doom. Definitely a fucking classic. And I didn't know the lead singer from this band, Blur, is also the lead singer of the Gorillaz. But as soon as you fucking hear it, you're like, oh shit, that's him. And of course, a little Google search or two, and you'll figure that shit out. Another one that it's funny how much they wrote on the coattails of this song, maybe some other song. I forget what song they had on Shrek, but Smash Mouth, the "You Got Me Walking on the Sun," like it was just one of those. It was the time when rap and hip hop were fucking blending, and Limp Bizkit didn't fuck it up yet. Another song was that just turned 20. It's Third Eye Blind, Semi Charming Life. And this is the one where it goes the do 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 do, and you would have never fucking thought it because they're supposed to be more alt rock, but this is just that one fucking hit that got him into stardom. Another song, Turn 20, definitely fucking real graphic, and you wouldn't know. I didn't know that they fucking said these words, but by a group called Marcy Playground, and it was a song called Sex and Candy. I remember hearing this shit just forever because it goes, I smell sex and candy. Fucking weird fucking track. But goddamn it if that's not a pedophile theme song besides the ice cream truck theme. Another song that just turned 20 and fucking A's are knowing, and fucking A, they're actually back. The group Aqua with the song Barbie Girl. And man, was this every Material Bitches Life's theme song. I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Fucking A. Oh, what it does. But anyways, another song that just turned 20 was a Sugar Ray's Fly. And again, and if I remember, I forget what rapper was on it. I think it was like Sizzla or some bullshit fucking reggae artist. But it was, again, one of those times where they're really melting, just blending of fucking genres, and they tried to write that coattail for as long as they could. But, you know, whatevs. Another song that turned 20, I remember discovering them shamefully, unshamefully, because I'm a fan of the movie I mentioned earlier, fucking from Clueless. The Mighty Boss Tones, they had that song, The Impressions That I Get. And one of the things I loved about just seeing this guy's performances is just he just always looked like he was pissed. And, you know, they called it skanking, a little dance that they did. And it wasn't, you know, like your typical hoisms. It's just like when you kind of kick your feet. You know, Aquabats tried to bring it back with whatever the fuck that music was called. Not reggae. It's like a reggae pop kind of thing. I forget what ska music, my bad. This was like the originators of that, and just fucking seeing his blood vessels want to fucking pop with that impressions that I get. Oh, another bitch to choke over is Mariah Carey, because this is back when she looked white and you didn't know she was black. You know what I'm saying? And the song Honey, which remember I had to relook at the video because I was like, how did that go? And you know, my fucking Noel would have gone on my ass about fucking not knowing how the hell the theme of that goes, because I remember they sampled for some other track. But anyways, full damn near blown out movie. Fucking Eddie Murphy was in the video along with that Jufro looking dude from Wedding Singer, the guy who played the brother-in-law. Anyways, fucking classic. Another one, Savage Garden, I Want You. Again, this is kind of like when they really, this is back, you know, when Matchbox 20 ruled and, you know, pop was alt pop like that. And we had fucking shits from another bitch called Meredith Brooks with Ita, my goodness. And she had a song called Bitch. And if you remember the song, and I don't know if, I thought it was Alanis Morissette, because I remember her being like naked in the train video, but that's not the one. This is where she goes, I'm a bitch, no, some for cocksucking motherfucker. Classic. And you don't hear that unless it's some kind of like single white female-y type fucking movie. But another one, Radiohead, Karma Police, and they were on their artistic shit since the beginning. I mean, they were one of the first ones to adapt, donate to get, you know, whatever records. You could give them whatever the fuck you want, you know, and which kind of, I guess, still connected with their more core fan base. I haven't really heard from them since Creep, to be honest with you. Notorious B.I.G.'s Hypnotized. This was just motherfucker was just passing out hits. And it's people, when you see people like that, like your Pacs, your Biggies, your Big Puns, where whatever the hell that they churned out, which is so dope, so monumental, it's just like, damn, like, are we gonna lose you soon? Because you're too awesome, you're too genius. And I'm not a Biggie fan per se. I mean, you hold the Biggie against Tupac, it'll be Tupac all day. I mean, but that's the same reason why I feel like we got motherfuckers like Kendrick. So every time he busts out with something, I'm like, damn, nigga, they haven't killed you yet? Ooh, I love you. God bless you. God wants you around. Another song too, fucking Green Day's Good Riddance. And if y'all remember every fucking teenage movie or little speech that they give from the Valley of Victoria, and they fucking sing that Time of Your Life, that's the fucking song. And those, my friends, listeners, bullshit motherfuckers, those songs are 20 years old now. If you're not old enough to know these songs, look them up. And if you are and you remember these, remember, you fucking old, dog. You old, ho? You old. I'm old. God bless us. All right, so again, and I don't want to be any of a fucking Debbie Down syndrome or a fucking negative Nancy Pelosi. So if you are, well seasoned, and that's what we'll call those folks, well seasoned, there are a lot of life lessons that maybe we can take from these seasons, because again, everything, history has a way of repeating itself, and if we're lucky enough to be there on the next loop-de-loop, hopefully we know how to handle it. Hopefully we can perfectly execute and set up for the next time this bitch goes for the fucking slam dunk or 3-point shot or whatever. I don't use sport references. I can give a fuck about sports. That shit's gay. But again, I want to tell you about some life lessons we learned from some beloved fictional characters. Now, if you remember Alice in Wonderland, she said this line where he goes, I can't go back to yesterday because I was a different person then. And not to get all biblical, but again, kind of giving shots out to fucking Peter again. And, not that I'm a Catholic fan or not, but the shit that he said about how, every day he dies and he gives himself up again in Christ, so that you hope that you won't be the same piece of shit that you were, yesterday. Listen to the Paul McCartney song, Yesterday. Real shit, same thing. Another line here comes from fucking John Johansson, whatever the hell nigga named him, from Hey Arnold, where he goes, it's real life. And in real life, you can't always win. Again, just kind of set yourself up to where even if you take an L, hopefully you'll get that fucking win. And my nigga Oscar, no, not Oscar, what the fuck's his name? Oh, the Cookie Monster. Fucking, he said back in the day, if you remember Sesame Street, friend, something better than chocolate ice cream. Maybe friend, somebody you'll give up last cookie for. Like, goddamn, like that's, not to say, sharing is caring, but also, to those that you love. And if someone can't make that sacrifice, not to say that they don't love you, but you see where you stand in that priority list. Another classic line was, even miracles take a little bit of time. This came from Fairy Godmother. Was that from Cinderella? And that's the real shit. Like, a lot of times, especially nowadays, and I found myself fucking victim or surviving to it too, is the fact that not everything can be fucking snip snap. As much as you know how to execute something, you can't expect someone else to execute that. And if you're part of a team, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So another classic line here goes, in every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. Miss Mary Poppins, and kind of like, remember in the fucking in the movie where he goes, you gotta whistle while you work, and there really is. There's a fucking chime and reason, and hey, I had to work on the phones and do the same mundane shit most of the time. Make sure people don't cry, make sure people get their medicines, and I enjoy my medicine while I'm having it. I hope that the fucking whoever's recording my calls can't hear me fucking hitting that, sparking that fucking lighter, but I be blunted. Now, another classic line, we do have a lot in common. The same earth, the same air, the same sky. Maybe if we started looking at what's the same instead of looking at what's different, well, who knows? This shit came from fucking Meowth off a fucking Pokemon episode where he had tried to stem away from Team Rocket, and as whack and as nerdy as it sounds to me to fucking have to quote some fucking Pokemon, that's some real shit. We really do look at the differences, and that's why fucking race becomes such fucking a hard divide. And it's fucked up, and you hear me say nigga with a hard R, but I'm using it for clarification and insinuation, assumptions or something. Speaking of savages, how high does a sycamore grow? And if you cut it down, then you'll never know. And that's coming from Miss Poker Hot Ass herself. And it's true where a lot of times, if we're already damning something, if we're already saying, fuck that shit, that shit ain't gonna work, we're thinking that shit into existence. And I know, especially, when I feel like I've been disconnected from Jehovah, and a lot of those times I forget that, because he gives that calm, or she, however you want to reference her as. But there's a lot in that. And, even if we might assume something, you don't really fucking know until it's, unless you give it some time to grow. Another classic line here is, sometimes we have to go deep inside ourselves to solve our own problems. You wouldn't fucking believe this shit came from fucking Mr. Patrick Star from the SpongeBob SquarePants. But it's funny in that a lot of times, especially with with the whole shit about motherfuckers just having, what was that classic line that was the Cat Williams who said, he's like some shit complaining about a bitch not having any fucking self-confidence, or some shit that he's like, bitch, that shit comes from yourself. And it does. I mean, a lot of times, like I said, we live either vicariously through something, or this facade that we have, whether it be online or whatever image and hoity-toityness that you fucking carry. But truly, if you don't have happiness in yourself, if you can't find it in yourself, then you're gonna be busy chasing something else. At least that's what I got from that shit. Now, and this again goes back to this, but today is a good day to try. That shit came from my nigga Quasimodo from the Notre Hunchback of Notre Dame. And it is, a lot of times, and especially I struggle with this shit the most when it comes to this dieting shit, man, because I've gotten the most plumpest and roundest that I've been since, I had to, literally chase a dyke of a mountain just to be able to win her love. And you really, and if you're in part of Weight Watchers, my fat ass has been, it's one meal at a time, and really you won't find out unless you try. And don't give me that next Monday bullshit, because next Monday comes all the fucking time, but nigga, you skipping the whole weekend in the middle of that shit. So con cuidado. Another thing is, the things that make me different are the things that make me. Again, and even this kind of comes to, when motherfuckers are negative and mean, like, there has to be an arch villain. You know what I'm saying? Jesus wouldn't have gone and would he get into if there wasn't a Judas to fuck him over. Not to say that gives him leeway, but there's a time and place for everybody. And that shit came from Winnie the Pooh. So shouts out to Pooh. That's been my favorite character. Not just because my t-shirts fit the same way. But Miss Snow White, she had said, "You're never too old to be young." And if anything, this is kind of why I feel like I love having boys so much, is the fact that I even though I want to relive it, it's fucking beautiful to see them, fuck with something that, that I had and I carried it in my youth. And except one of the biggest factors, and one of the biggest selling factors, especially now that you're seeing 90s being the biggest trend, and I'm gonna be scared when the 2000 new millennium bullshit becomes a fucking trend and the Jinko jeans come fucking back. But a lot of times though, you are never too old to be young again, and to be able to enjoy those things. And if it takes nostalgia to bring you back down to reality, or bring you to a happy place, I mean, you don't want to be stuck in the past, but you can't let your age stop you. I mean, shit, there was some fucking 86, 90-year-old people that are fucking barely graduating with their masters. Are they gonna fucking take that shit to them with them when they die? No. But they're gonna just have this knowledge either they can hopefully pass on, or at least show that it's never too late. Cause shit, we might not have Medicare to take care of us when we're older. Shouts out to Snow White. And another classic line was, "Venture outside your comfort zone, because the rewards are worth it." And that shit came from motherfucking Miss Rapunzel. And it really is like we build a lot on our strengths, and it's good as a team to rely on our strengths. But when you use that and you flexing all the time, shit's gonna be so easy. You're never gonna really grow. Nowhere you're gonna fucking sharpen your weaknesses, because you're fucking stuck in this comfort spot. And I remember too, one of my closest homegirls, and her baby daddy, who she was like on and off with for like 8 years, until she finally said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do the old keep a nigga baby trick," and it didn't work for her. It's because she stayed in this comfortable spot that she just never left, and because of not leaving and treading the water, she was never really able to find something new, and it kind of fucked her in the end. I mean, although she's happy and she's so proud to be a mama, it's just that she could have held out a little bit, and maybe had it with someone that she loved, or someone that was ready to build something with her. So it takes a great deal of bravery to stand up to to your enemies. But it's a great deal more to stand up to your friends. And that came from Mr. Albus Dumbledore, my nigga from the Harry Potter series. And that is a big thing, because a lot of times, especially if you're surrounded by yes men, that shit does not help you grow. And although it might make you feel better, again, it's not really helping you. You just on some petty, selfish shit at the time. So really, you got to be able to, stand up to, you got to be able to even, to look out for your friend. If you really love someone and they're making a fucked up decision, as uncomfortable as it might be, and as much as they might hate you at the time, when someone needs something, you gotta, don't be afraid to, to be real. So another classic line is, oh yes, the past can hurt, but you can either run from it or you can learn from it. That shit came from my nigga Rafiki from the Lion King series. And that's true, like I said, past hurts. And if you keep rechasing it, reliving it, looking at old fucking picture, being reminded of the bitch, it's not gonna help us grow. It's not gonna let us build. And all this time that I'm spending fucking gathering up new shit so we can build, I'm having to drop that shit to slap the old shit out of your hand, because we don't fucking need that shit no more, baby. Listen to me. Now, a little consideration, a little thought for others makes all the difference. And oh man, my nigga Eeyore from fucking Winnie the Pooh, he was, I think, the kind of sign for my sadness monster that allowed the Capricornness to fucking grab at and gravitate towards. But it really is. I mean, I feel like when I'm not totally being selfish, and I can be of a pure, clean heart, pureness, and all that goodness, it just, man, it can make such a difference to some others that we don't realize how far up in our own ass we are. Now, to laugh at yourself is to love yourself, and that shit comes from Mickey Mouse. And fucking hey, because that's where it starts at. If you can't love yourself, and you heard the shit, how can you love others? I mean, you can lust off of others, you can be filled penetration-wise by others, but I mean, that shit ain't gonna last that long, for as long as the sex lasts. And you're lucky if it does last a long time, but even then, it ain't gonna last long, theoretically. Now, a shell of an oyster only hides the pearl inside. And that came from Mr. Samurai Jack there. And that's one of the biggest shits, too. A lot of times, especially because we build this wall, we built this, defense and mechanism of sorts, either to keep people away or to keep the same people shackled in. I don't know. Take that for what it is, all right? And this next fucking line comes from Edna Mode. I never look back, darling. It distracts me from the now. And if you remember her, she's a little hairstylist, costume attachment lady from The Incredibles. She was the shit. And again, to get biblical again, I think it was, who was with Lot? Who was his uncle? The nigga that went to down to Sodom. I forget. I remember, was it Abraham? No. Yeah, I think it was. He had to go rescue Sarah and them. And I think it was Lot, get his cousin Lot and his wife and his whole clan. And they were leaving because they're about to bulldoze fucking Sodom and Gomorrah. And this nigga, and God even had to warn him, do not look back. Don't fucking tread on that shit. This bitch looks back and she turns into a pillar of salt. Now, whether that was just a metaphor for her getting lost in the sauce of shit, I mean, again, don't look back. If there's a beautiful, more brighter future, why would you look to the disgustingness of what hurt and what's definitely not good for you? So, another line here from my nigga Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. Ohana means family. Family means no one gets left behind or forgotten. And this bitch must have looked at the fucking fantasy rapers that were chilling out there fucking Sodom. So this bitch looked back and bam! Nigga, it all makes sense. Now another one here comes to one of the most rarest of Pokemon here, fucking Mr. Mewtwo. I see now the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are. And fucking A, did that shit hit me, because a lot of times, as much as I want to be fulfilled with Christ and fucking, direction and light and, pure raw love, you really, really, even in your most darkest of shits, you don't want to fucking live no more. And I can be just the whiniest bitch when it comes to that. Like, as strong as I am, sometimes ego or emotion can be like a fucking balloon, and fucking someone popping it can just be my will to live. And it just fucking, I lose it when some shit just pops up. I keep it to myself. I try not to let that shit affect others, but inside you killing yourself when you allow for that. So really, you can understand that for as long as we have breath, for as long as we have the ability to change something, there is time. I get really upset when I see old bitches fucking barely even know they just old bitches because they ain't doing shit, and they get mad that, or they feel like it's over and they're gonna write the coattails or something. No, don't do that, bitch. you still got time. You still have, you know what I'm saying? If not, for yourself, then to build for others. If you feel like, you don't have nothing for yourself, then help others. That's the least you can fucking do. Keep the train rotating. And I'm sorry to be so fucking preachy, but goddamn, these old cartoons, they speak to me. And I hope they speak to you. I really hope that they do. All right, so in this whole realm of just, being able to LIVIN, to keep on living, I fucking hope that Iran doesn't fucking blow us up. I know that they were doing the demolition missile testing bullshits, and Trump was hella quick to fucking fire back with the Obama was real nice to you, but I'm not kind of fucking tweets, which just lets me know, like, goddamn, like, we're fucking, our president has Twitter fingers. Like, it was one thing when we were clowning Meek Mills for doing that shit, but our president, Mr. Donald J. fucking Trump, that motherfucker, Lord Jesus help us. So in the realm of all that, what did they used to do back in the day before they, I don't know, gave up the most perfect being known as Yeshua? They fucking used to burn virgins. They used to make sacrifices. They used to, really give to the gods, these dedications and these perfect, lameless things. And I'm kind of the same. I like to keep the tradition alive. So, everybody, it's time for dedication. All right, so now ever since I became a Muslim, now, not the bad ones, but the good ones, the one that like Allah, I kind of became quite the Captain Safe and true to form. No matter how strong Superman is or was, he usually only saves one bitch at a time. So now that either means that he that likes to wrap his arms around him on some spoonish because he's a romantic type, or because his X-ray vision let him see the wicked bones of a bad bitch, and he came for the righteous, not the ratchet. Jesus came for the ratchet. So unfortunately, since I ain't finna die for you, I came to the conclusion there's going to be two sacrifices. One for the sun, one for the moon, day, night, burn one, save one, go. All right, so I'm definitely going to save the best for last. So in that case, it's burn the baddest bitch first. And I dedicate that to Summer Rae. SOMMERRAY. This bitch, I'm not too sure if she was famous or most popular on Instagram, but I know she has one by that name again. I think it's Summer Rae Officials FB. Instagram, I think it's just Summer Rae. And she's 20-year-old, I guess like one of those fitness models. And I laugh because she quoted Jeremiah 29:11 along with dreams don't work unless you do. And obviously her body definitely showcases some work that she done put in. So she definitely is very well deserving. But I crack up in a way because as much as, I would look at this, I'm burning this bitch because she's just putting it all out there. And not to say you can't be proud of your body, but man, is she putting the lust into the hearts of men and bitches who look at this. And I'm sure it's meant for inspiration. I'm sure it's meant to, they say, look what I can do, but you really putting it out there. At first, I didn't know who she was because I originally saw a picture, and if you're looking at the video, you're going to be able to see some of these goodies that I'm sure she's going to copy and paste into the video. And there's these pants that they're just like literally her body was sucking them up. And that shows a lot of dedication to be able to really put your, put the diet to the test, put your body to the limit to be able to emphasize and showcase these shits. Now, has she had surgery? I don't fucking know. I really don't know her shit like that. But if it came from just working out and being about it, then goddamn. If it's on some shit that she just bought, well then fuck her. And I'm glad that I'm burning it. Made the fucking cellulite fucking screaming into the, not cellulite, whatever the hell injection shit they put into the bitch. But let me go back into quoting fucking Jeremiah 29:11. It goes, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. So again, she's definitely showcasing that hope. It looks like a beautiful journey, and I'm sure y'all can slobber and fucking stare at those pictures for hours and wonder where her them sweatpants disappeared to. Like I said, it was just this one fucking picture that done got me, and I thought, Lord, to myself, Jesus, how is that possible? Is that shit painted on? Might as well have been. So I'm sorry, baby. You definitely did a whole lot. You need not do more. Push into the fire, you go. God bless. But definitely, more so, God bless Dessa, and spelled Dessa. Now she's this Filipino singer who I guess she's best known for the ending thing of some kind of Filipino soap opera called San Ka Man No Rodrun with Carol Banawa. Now I didn't come across her through that fucking soap opera, but I was listening to NPR at Tiny Desks, and I remember seeing her, and I was like, who is this fucking softball dyke who just looks like a huge Amazon warrior? And she was just rapping. She was like rapping and singing and doing like these spoken word kind of things. And I was like, man, it sounds like a man really broke her heart, and fucking researched the bitch. And it turns out that she's known for something called Doomtree, which I guess is the record label, and some other thing called Gayings, Gayyngs. I mean, you look at her, you can totally tell she's a goddamn, I don't know, scissorer, crab puffer, clam eater, clam baker, all these other erogenous shits that I can't fucking think about right now. But she's such a deep fucking person, and she's quite the vintage, because I know she's a little bit older. I mean, she's been trying to get shit popping off since '93. So I know she did a bunch of contests, a bunch of different festivals. I mean, she's been in the game for 15, 20 years. So I kind of respect that. I didn't hear about her till recently, too. I was, going through, the Tiny Desk recordings that NPR does, which is fucking awesome. If you can find any of your favorite artists on there, they do live, almost acoustic renditions of their songs, and it's just really fucking dope. So I saw that about her. I saw how much she does for her community. She comes from, I don't know how a Filipino bitch comes out of Minnesota, but that's what she was. She was fucking Stockton, and this bitch looked like she could slam dunk you over your ass in the WNBA. Like, that bitch looks strong. And I could just tell that she's out there empowering. And all the things that I saw didn't, show her just, eating bitches out or, rolled into a pride parade. Like, things of that orientation. And I said, I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not talking shit about it. But when you have that lifestyle about you, not to say that you keep it to yourself, but you don't fucking publicize it. You don't go promoting it unless it's time to protest, and you protest. But there's no reason to take what you love and have to rub it in someone else's face. That's how motherfuckers fuck it up with religion. And you see these niggas in the streets, with microphones trying to condemn people to hell. Like, that is really not the fucking way. Back in the day, when there was more guilt and less stimulation from other things, yeah, we would have fucking probably been scared shitless. Now it's like, you annoying motherfucker, you are really making them run away from Jesus right now. And so I really appreciate when people, they have a message, they don't shove it down your throat. They make you look into it and want to know more about it. And if it clicks with you, if it jives with you, if it awakens something in you, then you can do something about it, hopefully, or just continue on. So again, burn one, save one. Save this one because she keeps me saving others. And yeah, God bless it. She's beautiful. All right, so just to kind of tour things around, I want to end off on a positive, uplifting note. And I'm not too sure if the website's called Imgur or Imgur or Imager. It's IMGUR. But there's a Wadita who had posted a picture, which I'm assuming is through Snapchat originally, because it says that little shadowy line where you write text, and right over her fucking shoulder, I see a nigga getting his motherfucking knob slobbed on like a motherfucking corn on the cob. And motherfuckers on this website fucking went ham on this shit, because they called the posting "Welcome to Philly," and some motherfuckers took it upon themselves to make each comment line match damn near bar for bar the fucking theme song of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So as I read, in West Philadelphia, blown and raised at a bus stop is where I spent most of my days. Next comment, squirting out, jacking, blasting, all cool, emptying out my balls on the way to school. Next comment, when a straight-laced girl who was up to no good started taking selfies in my neighborhood. Next comment, I blew one little load and she got all scared, so I took the girl back to my crib where no one can care. Next comment, we get back to my place around 7:08. Next comment, when the straight-laced girl that was up to no good started taking selfies in my neighborhood. Next comment, I blew one little load and she got all scared, so I took it back to my crib where no one could care. I'm sorry, repeat again. Next comment, we got back to my place around 7:08. Next comment, yo bitch, ain't no later. I can't believe I made it. I was finally there, laying in my bed to the fuck. Oh, and laying on my bed to fuck the whore of Bel Air. And then another fucking thing, because there's just, I mean, people comment, and obviously they're not going to be in the most perfect order. That's why I fucking had to repeat this shit, because they repeated it. But there's another scene, or another line, where it says girl, and then in parentheses, talking to penis. Yo, home, smell you later. So the only other acceptable parody song for this situation would have been the slut on the bus goes slurp, 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 slurp. All right, let's cut things out. All right, let's cut things to a close. I'm tired of talking at you. I'm hoping you enjoyed your time. I'm hoping you learned something. I hope you laughed. I hope you talked some shit. And if you want to talk shit back, as always, you can reach me at SoulPapo. That's SoulPapo on most motherfucking social media websites. If you want to become a producer of the show, no doubt, go to patreon.com/SoulPapo, where you can join tiers. Pretty much is a place you can give me some money. All right, how about you give me some motherfucking money if you want to make the content better? You want to see some more shits? Want to see me take a shit? I will if you pay $15. Anyways, go out there, live life, be happy, fight for what's right. I know a lot of the shit that's going on right now with all the potential bans and shit. Some cities are trying to fight to become sanctuaries. Apparently, Phoenix, Arizona is going to be one of those too. Even though the mayor's really trying not to do that kind of shit, because if they do, might fucking limit and cut off certain federal, whether it be cuts or funding, and motherfuckers want their money. And, can't be mad at that, but let's not stop what made this country get great and what made it what it is, and that's the power, and that's the influence, and that's the coming together of all the motherfucking immigrants, because we're from everywhere. I mean, goddamn it, we stole this fucking land from the Indians. How much more real can you get from that? All right, show love, and God bless you.
If your closet smells like weed, it's because I was just in your closet smoking weed. And if it smells like pee, well, I'm old. Relax, mamacita. Here. Take a Quaalude. Oh, wait, that's a stool softener. I better take that. Here you go.
Remember Officer Steve and Officer Mark?
Hello, officers. I'm ex-Congressman Hubert Wilson. And I think we can all agree that it would be better if I were left out of this.
Get it, bitch.
Little me, twiddling, fiddling with all the things I probably shouldn't be doing. Wide-eyed, smiling, ooh, true as to me as can be. Tell me, why are they hating? They don't know about me, just what I let them see. They can't fuck with me. No, they really can't fuck with me.